All right, it says we're live. I believe we're live, and we are live. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Bandwagon Wednesday here in Raider Land. Glad you're going to hang out with us for a little bit tonight. You guys know what to do. The early arrivals, let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up, hearts, whatever it is, however it works. And let us know that we're going to get on down the road. We're coming to you from the Arctic Air Studios tonight. If you're joining us on X, if you're joining us on YouTube Live, you need to use the United Supermarkets text line 806 772 0197. United Supermarkets ready to take your tailgate up a notch or two. And that could be this weekend. You can tailgate at home. You don't have to be out of Jones Stadium. In fact, I mean, like, you could start tailgating tomorrow and tailgate Friday and Thursday and Saturday. And who's going to stop you? You're at home. It's legal. Hi there, Dorian. Hi there, TJ. Damon says the talking box is on. Indeed, it is. Val is jumping in tonight. We'll find out the bandwagons. You're on the bandwagons. You're off. Brought to you by South Plains College. You know, they got lots of cool evening classes. I was looking at some of the schedule, like different things you could do. I could go do some more economics. Principles of macroeconomics on Mondays, 5:30. Math, college algebra. Nope. Contemporary math. Then in the evening, maybe, is that geography? Physical geography? Okay, yeah, you get the idea. Oh, a lot of great Red Raiders were Texans before they became Red Raiders. South Plains College also brought to you by Boot City, one money saving mile outside the West Loop. Ton of new stuff in. It's starting to cool off. Your jackets, they're waiting for you at Boot City. Hi there, Alan. Hi there, Michael. I think we're about ready to go. I feel good. You guys feel good? We feel good. Let's do some bandwagons today. Let's talk Texas Rangers. Let's talk Waco. Yeah, Waco. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com, where you start your day with us every day. Question of the day, Raiderland hot links, cool stuff from around the internet. You find it at TheRaiderland.com. We're in the Arctic Air Studios. If your air is not Arctic, you need to call the bear. CallTheBear.com. Here in a few weeks, if your air is too Arctic, rinse, repeat. Call the bear. CallTheBear.com. Why don't you have them come out and take a look at it? Also by South Plains College and Boot City. As we get you on the United Supermarkets text line 806 772 0197. If you're on X, that sounds like you're doing drugs. They're on the X. I heard it on the X. They were doing the X on the X. You're on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, that's how you get a hold of us. 806 772 0197. Bandwagon Wednesday. These are things, sports or otherwise, that you support, do not support. You can get behind. And that could be the Texas Rangers, who now win a postseason series for the first time since what, 2011? Is it okay, Astros, if the Ranger fans celebrate today? I don't know, Craig. Sometime in November, first, second week, somewhere through there. Don't know for sure. Alan had a hot link sandwich today in Rome, which is just outside of Fort Worth. You're coming in on, what is it? Are you on 114 there? Rod's watching. Randy is watching. Maybe the Rangers are watching right now. We hope it's okay if they celebrate it just a little bit. We can get on this bandwagon. I texted Rob Bro. I said, who are these Rangers? He said, first half Rangers. Yay. First half. Oh, man, that's brutal. Hold on. Where are we? There we are. Product placement right there. 806 772 0197. Maybe you're on the tech run game. Maybe you're on, I guess we're still going to have to pay attention, or not pay attention, but we'll still have it foisted on us. But it is the final time that it will be played in the Big 12 footprint, and that's Texas and Oklahoma, which Oklahoma now, what is it? Are they getting 6.5 still? Me likey Oklahoma to cover in this thing at this point. Alan, I'm on the no celebration after winning games. Only the most horrible franchises celebrate playoff bursts and victories. October through early November. Yeah, you're going to beat us up there. You're going to get there just a little bit before I'll be headed up there for sure. Lindell Troy getting excited about the Rangers. Why, were you not entertained before? Off the United Supermarkets text line, a texter telling us Chad Hasty was warning his viewers to put their cell phones in a far away or RFID bag and turn it off. Was he doing that today? That was the big cell phone test. Everybody's cell phone go off. Mine went off. It's on mute all the time, but it still went off today. And I'm not kidding. One other topic today, which I'm not afraid to do this because I'm so secure in my own West Texanness. Best things about Waco. Texas Tech playing in Waco, and it was David Collier, who directs sports and sports footage on the ABC affiliate in Lubbock, Texas, pointed out last night on X. He was on Twitter. He was not doing drugs that I know of. This will be the first night game Tech has played since 1999 in Waco. Spike Dykes' final year, October 23rd. Texas Tech getting the record to a nice 5-0 at that point. That it never even dawned on me that Tech had not played a night game in Waco since then. But what that means is that there's been a lot of nights in Waco that you could have had partying it up. See Don's column, Texas Tech has underachieved big time. Do I agree? I can't agree or disagree because I have not read his column. So I apologize for that. Have they underachieved this year? Yeah, I think by all metrics, they should have been better. They should have, if nothing else, they've underachieved by losing to Wyoming, you know? And then if they, not, losing to West Virginia, that's two things. They have vastly underachieved in a small sample size. That's two games that this program should have won. So I guess by any metric, that's underachieving. The Texas Ranger Museum is in Waco. The law enforcement, not the baseball team. Only the federal government would get the time wrong. Did they get the time wrong? I don't even know when. I just remember it went off at some point this afternoon. Two best things about Waco: Dr. Pepper and I-35 North. Ain't nothing good about I-35. Rod says, sorry, my 5-year-old typed gibberish. She stole my phone, said, my friend can't talk to me. Oh, ouch. It's kind of painful. Rod's got a cute kid, by the way. Brags on her all the time on the Facebook. Joe says +3 on something. Something is +3. What's Texas Tech today? Is it still 1.5? Is that game? Yeah, painted 1.5. Well, there's a couple of ones. There's some ones, not rogue ones. And then 60.5. I lean towards the under, even though the metrics say, if you're just looking at it, that it should go over. But until Tech does something away from home offensively, I'm not really buying that they're going to hold up their end of the bargain. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Best things about Waco: the peaceful assembly of the FBI and the ATF in 1993. Nothing bad happened according to them. And Janet Reno, texter on the United Supermarkets text line, turned my phone off, put it in airplane mode, put it in the microwave. I turned off the breakers to my smart TVs and the internet from 1 to 2. Didn't get a thing. Good job. That's probably just a good idea every day from 1 to 2, maybe to do that. Chris says the state marching contest used to be at Floyd Casey. Beautiful, legendary Floyd Casey with maybe the worst press box. No, not maybe. The worst media accommodation press box in the Big 12. Golly. You had to climb into it. Made the visiting press box at Idalou seem swanky by comparison. No, seriously. Like, best things about Waco. Waco's sort of like Lubbock in that it gets maybe a little bit of an unfair bad rap at times. I think, some West Texans and maybe some Wacoans, Wacoites, the Hittites, the Wacoites might be able to agree on a little bit of that. But has there been a city that has undergone a bigger makeover in the last 20, 25 years than Waco? You go back and you look at the changes, that it was pretty much dead the same for years and years and years going down there. And I don't want to put everything and just say, hey, look, Chip and Joanna Gaines showed up and did this, but man, they had a huge role in it. And they started thinking of themselves differently down there, and it shows. McGuire, somebody get Mark McGuire to motivate this team. Turn everything off from 1 to 2 since Rob Bro doesn't do his Friday night post-game show anymore. I agree. There's nothing to pay attention to anymore. Waco from Waco, Billy Joe. Best thing about Waco is the prolific home remodels they do on TV. Yeah. No, I'm serious. That city went through as big a revitalization. I don't even know if you call it a revitalization because that would imply that it was vital beforehand. You know, the Branch Davidians gave them a black eye, or was that the Clinton administration and Janet Reno? One might say it was the other way around. First ever wiener roast outside of Waco. 806-772-0197. Best things about Waco. They used to have a place called Buzzard Billy's. Anybody remember that little joint? It was down there by the hotel. And, if I remember right, for a while, they had like an ambulance parked out front, like an old 1960s ambulance and everything. Have dollar beer, bad dollar beer night. You can go get some PBR for $1, Schlitz for $1. I mean, if you were down there for a basketball, it made a Tuesday night moderately okay. And this was before they built. Did they put any crickets down there for a while next to the Nymphas? I think so. Waco embraced who they were, and look what happened. Lubbock should do the same. I agree. Lubbock needs to be more Lubbock. Their new basketball arena looks nice. Haven't been in it, obviously. I haven't been down there really. I haven't been down there since they started building it. Gonna miss the little gas house on the Brazos. The year it opened, Farrell Center, the first year it was open, they had a gas leak in the visitors' locker room, and they damn near killed some members of the Texas A&M basketball team in travel party. Serious, real story. We used to call it the gas house. You had Buzzard Billy's. Of course, there's George's. Now, they got a really cool pizza place that I assume is still there. Paparola's. Anyone ever go to Paparola's? You go in, it's a little strip center, and you walk in, it's this little storefront. You go, okay. There's a phone booth over in the corner, and you go into the phone booth, and then the whole thing swings around and opens up into this vast back room where all the cool stuff is going on. Really good hamburger pizza there. And I'm not a huge... There are only 2 hamburger pizzas that I would get over pepperoni or anything else. That would be Paparola's, and then Mockingbird. Oh, Campese's. Good Lord, I cannot pull Campese's out of my brain all of a sudden. Campese came to Lubbock, thinking they'd own it, made the mistake of acting like people out here knew who they were. Arrogance, pride goeth before the fall, and their arrogance killed them on that. Chris is watching. Craig is watching. So yeah, seriously, like good things about Waco. Even the silos are good right there. The high school and the Texas Sports Museum all down there. That's kind of cool stuff. Like that. So see, now they can say, hey, somebody talked nice about Waco. Baylor beat Tech here last year. Last time that happened, your son was born in 1990. Had tickets. My wife made me go. Bad decisions. Your wife made you go. Oh, interesting. That was the J.J. Joe. 1990 J.J. Joe beats Texas Tech in Lubbock. And what I remember about that is I was still at Tech, and I think it was homecoming. It's like an early homecoming game or something that year. So I took a date to the press box. How many people can say they did that? How many people can say they took a homecoming date to the Jones Stadium press box? It's legit. She had a pass. Media. It's all good. There you go. Of course, Troy had just had a kid, and everything. Yeah. And then Texas Tech went on this long run. I was just randomly looking at the series numbers on Tech and in Waco, first off. So the first couple of games were in Waco in 29-31, and Tech didn't score and got beat. Then they played in Lubbock from 31 up until 47. Mostly Tech wins. Then they go back to Waco. Again, Tech doesn't score in 48. And finally, in 1950 was the first time Tech ever scored in Waco. Tech made them pay, eventually for this after they got in the Southwest Conference and began to even it up. But it's like you went decades and decades. You couldn't even score in Waco. It's not like Baylor was, some great Shakes football team during that whole time frame. Really weird. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Hey, Glenn. Hey, David. Glad you're watching. Bandwagons, you're on. Bandwagons, you were off tonight. Oh, we firmly on the Rangers bandwagon. If nothing else, it doesn't even matter to me what happens against Baltimore now in the ALDS. The team has, in my opinion, overachieved. They've been ahead of schedule. They have they get this series win. I mean, somebody, I don't know who it was, somebody on Twitter said Jeff Passan said I think that they made Tampa Bay look like a 99 loss team. They bludgeoned them. Josh Young today, a couple of doubles, a couple of doubles and a triple, and he becomes like one of 5 players to ever do it in postseason play. Guys like Pete Rose. Huh. So, everything else is gravy from here. Gravy if you're a Rangers fan. Now, you want to keep winning, but this is absolute gravy. Craig, I remember that Baylor had a real bear mascot, and when they would score, they give it Dr. Pepper. Yeah, back in the 70s. Into the 80s, they I think into the 90s maybe they kept that thing around. I can't remember the Bears' name. Shasta was the name of the Cougar at Houston. Tech Ropes and Bama looking for a clean sweep this weekend. Get behind that. On the monsoon bandwagon, rain is good. Yep, good rain. Now dry it out and let those farmers get back in the field and get back to work. Good little stretch. Looks like start drying out maybe tonight. Go in there. Bandwagon of Iowa getting a cup race. Only if Chris Devoda is put back on either Fox or NBC to call the race. The Iowa native, one of the great NASCAR reporters of all time, Chris Devoda. Rangers sweep Tampa in front of hundreds of fans. Remind me again why they have a franchise. Waco MVP Dave Campbell. There you go. Here's to Dave. We got his autograph on the first ever issue of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Autographed it to my father, of course, who bought it at the drugstore in Olton, Texas in 1960. Dave Campbell was kind enough to come on my old radio show a handful of times. Always a pure gentleman, always really nice. So cool. And literally created Texas football in his kitchen at the table. Yeah, going back to Iowa getting a cup race, you have about 4 races within 5 hours of Chicago during a month and a half stretch, it looks like. So kind of interesting, the Midwest. NASCAR just trying to find anywhere that'll work with them. Idalou and Abernathy Friday night on the Antelopes bandwagon. Major League Baseball in Florida has never really worked out. Nope. And there's a reason for it. You can go see them all spring long for next to nothing. Almost nothing. Then you got everybody transplanted down there. There are more Yankee fans in Tampa, St. Pete than there are Tampa fans. That nobody's really from there. It fails for different reasons than why it hasn't worked in some places in California and other places that go good weather and all that. But the main thing is that you can go see them all spring for nothing. Dave Barnett, Raycom legend, good guy too. They just why are they even trying? It doesn't have anything to do with the stadium. The stadium's not going to fix it. The Marlins Stadium didn't fix it. Humidity plays on it too. Yeah, there's a reason why the Astrodome was completed. What was it? I heard a great joke a while back. It's way old, and it was talking about the Colt 45s before the Astrodome, and I can't remember which Colt 45 player it was who became an Astro, and I can't think. He said it was the only time he ever got somewhere. They played a game, and instead of the 7th inning stretch, they had the 7th inning blood transfusion because of all the mosquitoes and the loss of blood. I look forward to meeting Dave Campbell on the other side, indeed. You won't be disappointed, and he will not be disappointed in your efforts either, Chris. Nashville would be a good place to relocate. Nashville's got everything. But people show up and go to stuff there. You know? They go to the Predators games. They go to the Titans. Well, Titans games. They show up. They go. San Antonio needs a pro football and a baseball team. Never happened. As long as Jerry Jones and his family has any control over the Dallas Cowboys, they will 100% absolutely make sure San Antonio never gets a pro football team. And you probably got the same going on with the Astros and the Rangers. Nashville used to be. I would go to Chattanooga. Yeah. What were the Moccasins? Tennessee, Chattanooga. where what former Texas Tech quarterback was the head coach there? Everyone in Tampa retired snowboards. They don't care about Tampa double A's. They care about spring training. Yeah. So what they do, they go $10, $15, and they go, and it's nice. And, Uncle Leo comes down and they hang out. Vegas is ruined it in Nashville. I guess we're off the Nashville bandwagon then. It's Bandwagon Wednesday. The bandwagons you're on, the bandwagons you are off. Off the mosquito bandwagon with all the rain. Goodness gracious. Lady Enjoy, Baylor's Bear mascot. Really? Like always? And yes, it was Rodney Allison who was the coach there at Tennessee Chattanooga. Really? Like always? Is that like Reveille and stuff? Lady Enjoy. Please tell me you had to look that up, Craig. Right as I'd say that, per Google. Okay. Yeah. That'll help with anything. Bachelorette, City USA, all the bachelorette parties and everything go there. I would have liked to have seen Nashville before they ruined it. Go to Tootsie's, Bluebird Cafe. See a show at the Ryman. Oh, well, those days are all gone. Texas Tech and Baylor will play a football game. We need to see more of the run game. We talked about this earlier in the week. More run. Baylor does something really bad defensively, and it's stopping the run. That teams have been able to gain yardage at a high clip on the run. So, yeah, more Brooks, more Valdez. Continue to baby that shoulder back for Baron Morton. Take the pressure off. Play action is a good thing. And go in there, and I don't care whether you score 30, 40, or 50. Just go get a nice, comfortable win. Drowning a sea of Swift fans every weekend. Doesn't sound pleasant at all. Feed Tosh. Please feed Tosh. Feed Cameron. Feed Exxon Valdez. Feed them all. Give Martinez the ball. Just run it. Running can be fun and cool too. People act like running the ball is boring. Run plays, when you have a well-blocked, well-designed run play blocking, that to me is as cool and as football X's and O's as any pass play, any, route tree, any mesh routes over the middle. It's just as cool and probably harder to execute. Are we ever going to have another Williams and I show? Nope. No, you will never have another one. Waco native Frank Fallon, the voice of the Final Four, one of the best Southwest Conference broadcasters ever. I agree. Fortunate enough to get to spend a little time around Mr. Fallon. I couldn't bring myself to call him Frank. Steve Fallon, his son, I can call him Steve. Mr. Fallon. Remember, we had a meeting in Dallas. They brought in different media types from around the Southwest Conference in the waning days. This is before the Big 12 conference was announced, before we found out that this was going on. So at that point, who the hell was it? Was it Fred Jacoby? I can't even remember. Bo Carter was the media relations director, I think, in charge of this. Anyways, they brought a bunch of us to Dallas, different media people from around the league. Play-by-play, daily people, whatever. And the idea was, hey, what can we do? What can we do to help the Southwest Conference? What can we do to strengthen the Southwest Conference? And I just remember sitting there thinking, one, keep your mouth shut because, nobody cares what you have to say. And two, you're sitting one person removed from Frank frickin' Fallon. Frank frickin' Fallon. And I think by the time we got done, and I can't remember whether we were at the Anatole or where, but we'd all pretty much decided that day. And this was probably 93 or 94, right in through there-ish. There was no way the Southwest Conference was going to survive. Wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to take place. But we all had a really good time. Yeah, I just remember sitting there. I'm in the same conference room with Frank Fallon. I would listen to that man read out of the phone book. Running shortens the game, disheartens the opponent more than anything else. I agree. Running robs you of your manhood if you're the defense. When you get run on, it's personal. And like I said, really cool schemed up run plays. I love to watch them. And you can throw off that a whole lot easier than you can run off passing. There you go, open up the run game with the passing. You know how it works. And you can spread the field formation, blah, blah, blah. Mr. George's, yeah, Big O there in George's. We talked about that with Waco. Buzzard Billy's. The first place I ever went to a Damon's, a place for ribs. They had one downstairs at the hotel that we always stayed at for women's basketball, men's basketball. Almost all the teams. It's right next to the convention center and everything. And one of the coolest things they had. This is back in the day when NTN Trivia was really popular and everything. But it was one of the first places I went to where they had the speaker. They had like 5 or 6 big screen TVs, and in your booth you could turn the speaker to whichever TV you wanted to hear. I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. This is the most awesome thing ever. That was a plus for Waco back in the day. I can't even remember if I ever had any ribs there. Big 12, I'm not going to change their name. What the hell? No, that explains it. Oh well. No, they're not going to change the name. Too much equity into it, and they're just not going to do it. I don't think there's any appetite for it. I don't think anybody really wants to do it. Run the dang ball, Bert. It's almost that time. It's almost sneezing time. Naaman's Barbecue, Texarkana changes your life. Huh? Which side of Texarkana is it on? That may determine if I ever decide to go there. Plus, my son goes to Rodeo Clown College, but he can't now because he's too big. He's too tall. Too tall to do it. Tex, he got to get a win on the road. Might as well be there when it happens. Waco bound. Have fun. Go to Paparola's. Okay, it's on the Texas side. Filtering the tonight. Start putting a bourbon in that cup. That'll solve the cough issues. Yes, and that'll also make for a very sleepy broadcast. By the end of it, we would, yeah, nighttime. I mean, I'm no Chad Hasty. I don't know how he does it. Can't be too dirty. Whatever's in there is not dead yet. I'll give you a fake $1 if you can tell me what TV show that line came from. There is no way anyone's going to get that reference right there. Just a couple more minutes before we get out of here. It's Bandwagon Wednesday. The ones you're on, the ones you're off. We got Texas Tech football in our brains, and it really is, to me, simple. Just keep running the football. Just keep doing that. Don't outthink the room. Just keep doing that. And some things I think will begin to come together for you during this little stretch of play. And we're celebrating the city of Waco. And I'm serious when I say that. I have a lot of respect for that city because I first started going there on a regular basis in the early 90s. And, I mean, brutal. And now it really did reinvent itself. Chip and Joanna, good job on you, man. But it was more than just that. I think a lot of cities can take a page from that. I think they can do that. They changed how they look at themselves. They embrace their Waco-ness, as Alan said earlier. Run the ball, play action, fake. Make it happen, Kitley. Make it so. Why has the D been worse than expected? That's a very good question. My biggest problem with it, I think Tim DeRuiter has spoken about it a couple of times this year. I've been surprised how many missed tackles, which is weird because in the same game that I'll see 18 missed tackles, I'll see some really great one-on-one individual tackles. We saw that in the first half against Houston the other day, that while they're out there, they're getting the pass. I'll get to the pass rush in a second there, Becky. In the same time, they're missing and whiffing on tackles, and all of a sudden they'll come back and make a tackle like I hadn't seen before in forever. Form tackle, one-on-one, guy, angle, great, everything. I'm like, so an inconsistency on that. Have I been to the Ranger Hall of Fame? Yes. You need to go. I did not have near enough time there. I had 30 minutes, and I mean, I barely walked in. I agree with what Alan said. They stopped trying to be a knockoff of Austin or the Metroplex. Agreed. whole branch of my dad's family, Baylor people. Aunt Mildred was Pat Neff's executive assistant, Governor Pat Neff. Who I believe, did Pat Neff sign into existence Texas Tech? I can't remember if he did that or not. Okay, on the pass rush, they have gotten penetration. They have gotten penetration. We use the term, they don't get home. They get back there, they've disrupted, but they've done two things. They don't quite get there sometimes. They've been committed to it, but their rush lanes are all over the place. And think of it when you watch a game this weekend and you watch pass rush. Think of it like kick coverage and staying in your lane. That where teams get hurt now, because most quarterbacks can and will move on you, is when they break contain, that you lose your rush lanes. And they talk about that. And that's why you see a lot of offensive linemen that are really good at this, that they will I call it waltzing up a defensive player, that they'll waltz him up and allow his own inertia to carry him right past the play and take him right out of a lane. That it used to be you'd fight so hard and you'd stonewall and stay right there, and the guy wouldn't go very far. He wouldn't get very deep, but he'd still be blocking the path of the quarterback. Gap responsibility on a rush. Yeah, very similar. Now, those linemen have learned how to just go ahead and go, okay, you want to go, big boy? Let's go. We'll go over here. You can't do anything. So I think we've seen that problem with the pass rush this year, that it has been ill-disciplined in its lanes. That has led to some escapability by the quarterbacks that can do it. Green, white, checkered, here we go. So you don't always have to sack the quarterback to disrupt it. Collapse the pocket up the middle. Don't let them step up, depending on who the quarterback is. You can stunt yourself right out of a play, I think, sometimes. And sometimes we see that happen with concept games up front, 2-man, 3-man concept games, that DCs get a little aggressive on that. Again, it's like an offensive coordinator having too many tools to work with. Sometimes it's just, again, gap responsibility. Let's do that. Cover a little bit. Yeah, defense not and then again, just not a ton of takeaways too in some of these games early on. Or you get them and you don't do anything with them, like West Virginia. Have to have linebackers play to run many stunts, yes. And we continue this evolution of, what's a linebacker, what's an edge guy, what's an outside linebacker, what's a defensive end. You have your interior lineman on the defensive front. At any given time, you may have what looks like 3 middle linebackers, or you might have no middle linebackers and nothing but outside linebackers. It's really, we go back to the idea of positionless basketball, and you are getting more and more, particularly at the linebacker position in football, positionless linebackers. That you'll hear them talk this week about some guys in and out, moving in and out. I'm going to have to play Ramirez here, but I'm going to move him here and there. It used to be you were a middle linebacker, you were an outside linebacker. You were Sam, you were Mike, you were Will. Now that's been blurred because of what you have to stop offensively. That you just can't run the same 3 or 4 linebackers out there. You can't do it anymore. Getting Rodriguez back a couple of weeks will be big. Yeah, that'll help. And you try to hold some things together here for this little 3-game stretch with Kansas State coming up, and then BYU, 6 o'clock, Kansas State. All right, going to wrap it up for tonight. You guys are the best. We appreciate it always. Check out everything we do, theraiderland.com. We appreciate your comments. Not a message board, but we enjoy the comments there. We get to the portion here where we have to say goodbye to our folks on Twitter and on YouTube. Yeah, it's all about speed. And the guy who figured that out first, really, at the college level, modern college level, over the last 25 years ago, Bob Stoops, back when he was really Bob Stoops. And he didn't care how big they were. He just had fast guys. And they weren't all that big. And they were really good there for about a 10-year stretch doing it. End the stream. Yes, we will end the stream. All right.